So ignore the record on the screen, but the Washington Commanders were one of the worst teams in the league in 2025. I am using an updated roster, if you're wondering how to get it. I searched for it, found it on Reddit. It was the first one that popped up, and I had to make some more changes. It wasn't perfect, but I have a lot of the free agency moves so far. We're going to treat this 2025 season like 2026 before the next game actually comes out. And for all those that have been requesting, I will try using the realistic draft class. I'm sure I'm going to absolutely hate the ratings and everything about the players, but that's okay. We're going to try it because most of you probably don't actually care about much more than the name, right? So we're getting the names in there. And we're going to see what the Commanders could actually do with the 7th overall pick in the draft. Leo Chanel is a new pickup. Adafe Owe got a massive deal to be a Commander. Chiga Okonkwo is a Commander now. I mentioned it later in some capacity, but I do want to mention now on Twitch tonight, twitch.tv/Bengal, I'm starting an MLB The Show franchise series. I do this every year on my second channel, but I've been streaming the games live and the series live. So twitch.tv/Bengal tonight. And that series will be on my second channel over the next days and months. Link down below. So twitch.tv/Bengal tonight, youtube.com/Bengal plays for the series in post if you can't make it live. Nick Cross. Now, will all of the contract details be correct? That might be a problem for future Bengal to figure out. I don't think so. But we're going to jump in and we're going to see what we can do here. This Commanders team is terrible, which I like as a Giants fan, but we're going to have to dive into enemy territory and try to win them a couple of Super Bowls today. Let's kick things off. So this is the team in desperate need of a center. Tyler Biadasz got cut and is now a Charger, but this is a decent center class. You know, the option to take maybe a Jake Slaughter on day 2, Logan Jones maybe into day 2 or day 3. There are some decent centers. Connor Liu, maybe even. So the Commanders want to draft a center. If we want to draft a center, that could be an option. Receiver doesn't look great. Running back doesn't look great, even though Bill is a cult icon at this point. And then defensively, obviously a lot of money spent here already. Frankie Louvu still sticking around, but brought in Leo Chanel on a big deal. Brought in Nick Cross. Adafe Owe got paid a ton. 4 years, $100 million in real life. Now, in the game, I don't know exactly what we're going to get because he's kind of on the edge of regression in Madden. His contract is not even close to what it is in real life, not even remotely. So that is going to be an interesting symptom of some of these off-season rebuilds. They always are. I hate it. This video is brought to you by Arena Club, the home of the slab pack. It's the best place to rip digital cards that you can later get sent to you, like I did in the case of this Drake May. Go over slab packs. Arena Club offers you the opportunity to open up digital packs starting at just $25, but with real graded cards inside. If you go over to Slab Packs, Arena Club lets you open up these digital packs that start at just $25, but can be worth up to 20 times more than the pack price if you pull the Grail. And these are real graded cards inside that, again, you can get sent to you if you so choose. They will also give you an instant offer on whichever card you pull. There's no mystery. Of course, this is a football channel. We're going to go over the football card. You can see the actual odds and the hit rate per every single card that you could find. There is no guesswork. There is no mystery. Recently introduced specialty packs as well, like if you're in a Pokemon, Charizard only packs, Legendary Grail packs, case hit only packs, which is super fun. We're going to rip the Ruby football though and see what we get. We've had pretty decent luck. Hopefully that continues. And here we are. Rashee Rice, Gem Mint 10. Okay. He is certainly a player, and we get an instant offer for that card. I think that's a pretty good deal for me. We're going to go ahead and accept that. You can see I currently have some of my favorite pulls in the showroom. Shout out to 9, except for no Drake May because I got this one shipped to me. So grab 20% off your first slab pack or card purchase by going to arenaclub.com/Bengal and using code Bengal. It's your turn to rip again. That's 20% off your first slab pack or card purchase with arenaclub.com/Bengal. And remember to use code Bengal. And we also don't know the actual details for any of these, so I'll just do Odafe Owe to get his cap hit somewhere in the neighborhood. We'll do a 60-40 split or so. But we don't know the guaranteed money on a lot of these deals. Some we do, of course, especially the bigger ones. We definitely don't know the signing bonus on a lot of these. We don't know what the cap hit will exactly be. So these off-season rebuilds, I said in Sony Jersey, these off-season rebuilds are always like pretty janky, but it's kind of more of the thought that counts. So we got Odafe Owe on some type of a big deal here, and everyone is always surprised. It's like two absolute givens for the offseason, shout out Chris Givens, is one, people that don't really understand how the draft works or even know anything about prospects of college football will give you definites that will and can't happen in the draft, and then are always surprised when they are not correct with their definites. And then people that don't understand how free agency and NFL contracts work will get absolutely blown away at some of the contracts that are handed out, calling everything an overpay. Not exactly right, but such is life. Laramie Tunsil signed an extension. Josh Connerly ideally is our right tackle of the future, but will he actually be able to start over Andrew Wiley, who is a higher rated player at this point? I think he should, because we're not really concerned so much about winning a Super Bowl in year one as we are about developing the team. Josh Connerly playing, I think, is an important part of that. And I also like how, even though he's one of our best right tackles, he doesn't even appear on the depth chart as a right tackle. So I have to jump in here and manually move him in. It's a very frustrating game. But you guys have seen the team. I'm just going to end up reworking these contracts. But this is the team that basically the Commanders are dealing with fundamentally. And there's some potential here. There's some good young players. Mike Sainer still. Hopefully Trey Amos can come along. For the sake of this rebuild, in real life, I hope he stinks. Giants back on top. But there are some good players here. Preston Smith is not going to end up being one of those guys for us, but we may just let his contract expire. Not everything's going to be entirely correct. I've done the best that I can to make it as realistic as possible, but it's Madden franchise. It's not as entirely realistic as we all would like it to be. And then even so, it's been a hot topic lately with MLB The Show, and I am going to do an MLB The Show franchise series. I've done, about 30 episodes the last several years for MLB The Show franchise. So if you guys want, check out the second channel. Link, as always, is in the description. Bengal plays. I've yet to announce my team, but as you're watching this, MLB The Show is probably coming out either tonight or tomorrow. So make sure to check out that channel and the stream. I will be streaming twitch.tv/Bengal. And if you guys are interested, you can find more franchise content from me. This is the draft class that we're going to be trying out. I have yet to see it, but Garrett Nussmeier is a top 3 player. I like that. That's interesting. A lot to take in. Well, we're dealing with it. Oh, there's a lot here. I don't know what's happening. Oh, I know why this last name cannot be in the game. Yeah, well, I guess that makes sense. And you can't write Slaughter, I guess. Some of these things I forgive them for, but this is all over the place, mostly. Okay, maybe Nussmeier was not a top player. It was sorting by, like, something. I don't know. Arvel Reese is not spelled correctly. I wonder if you can't do Arvel. I don't know. It's always a fun game to play. Lazy or EA's weird. It's always a fun game. But we've got our quarterback of the future in Jaden Daniels. Really shouldn't have to consider that at all. But where is this team especially weak? Could absolutely use help on offense. So I think we're going to be looking at offensive line. We're going to be looking at receiver, potentially running back. And then defensively, linebacker and secondary overall. But it's not the worst. 2-5 at the mid-season mark as Jordan Tyson experiencing a stock drop. Apparently might be benched soon. What even do we do for national focus here? I suppose receiver, as receiver is basically the strength of every modern day NFL draft class because everybody wants to play receiver. And there are a lot of really good ones. Carnell Tate, expected to go pretty high. Jordan Tyson, Mekhi Lemon, Denzel Boston, Zach Branch, wide receiver 5. Could that be the case? I don't think so. Well, I don't think above Omar Cooper, but, you know, teams are always trying to pay for speed. Zach Branch has no shortage of that. But 2-5 at the midseason mark. Some free agents that we have to deal with. And again, this may not be exactly what it looks like next year, but we're probably going to be making some changes because we want to get better and not worse. Chris Paul, I like. He's going to help us hit big threes down 40. No, he's going to be a solid interior offensive lineman option for us, and really not all that expensive. We signed him to a 5-year deal worth about $7.5 million per year. He's going to be back, and he is. Do we want Treylon Burks back? Not really. I still think there could be a world where Treylon Burks figures out how to be good, but it seems more unlikely than likely. Terry McLaurin is a beast. Got to try to win while Terry's still good. 29 years old. Typically, those 29-year-olds turn 30, and that's not really great for development and holding that overall. Terry's such an awesome player, though. We need to do better. I mean, look at this receiving core. That's going to be a heavy, heavy focus for me in this offseason. Jordan McGee, I actually think, is a decent player, but, or at least I liked him coming out of Temple. He's not ready to go. These are work in progress. Not really going to look to trade anybody right now. I'm going to simulate to week 13 and do focus scouting players. Just so we get a little bit of a higher percentage on some of these guys. Even though I feel like I know the class in real life pretty well, I don't want to draft bad prospects in the game, because that's where this rebuild is occurring, as I may have actually simulated past the week I want. No, I didn't. Timed it up perfectly. 4-7, going to be picking high in the draft. And I'll tell you, Sonny Styles, weak side linebacker, interesting. Caleb Downs, free safety, interesting. Not really the position he plays. But I am going to definitely consider... Where's Jeremiah Love? Oh, there he is. It was literally right there. Running back is definitely something we could consider. Mekhi Lemon, first-round talent. Denzel Boston, round 2 to 3. Let's get a look at Omar Cooper. He's probably not going to be great. 6-11. Not the year the Commanders were looking for. At least we got a healthy Jaden Daniels. Threw for 25 touchdowns, 7 picks. Just shy of 3,500 yards passing. As Bill Krosky-Merritt was not very good. Did have 12 touchdowns, though. But 900 yards rushing is kind of the only saving grace here. It was a 3.5 yard per carry season. Not amazing. Terry McLaurin was pretty good, all things considered, and Jalen Lane had a pretty good year. Luke McCaffrey had a pretty good year. So the passing offense was actually not awful. A lot of triple-digit tacklers. What that tells me is this defense was on the field way too much. What a year for Daron Payne, though. 19 TFLs, 13.5 sacks, 7 for Johnny Newton, 6 for Dorrance Armstrong. Odafe Owe has really yet to make his presence felt. Probably need to put up more than 5.5 sacks to make that contract feel worth it. Now, we know in real life, sacks are not the end-all be-all, but there's no pressure number here in Madden. There's no game film to study to see impact. We got to get the sack number up. Super Bowl rematch. Ravens and Giants. Hopefully the Giants can win this one. I mean, what a turnaround for Big Blue. John Harbaugh, in his first year as head coach, faces his former team in the big game. Wow. What a storyline. You can't make this stuff up. Well, except this is all made up. As the Giants win a thriller 14-10, Jackson Dart, Super Bowl MVP. Josh Allen wins MVP. Puka Nacua and Jalen Walker are your players of the year. And we head to the offseason. We've got a clear goal of what we want to do. Get more talent around Jaden Daniels. We need help at receiver, at running back. Treylon Burks is not the way. Don't need Noah Igbenogany anymore. Man, a couple of great first-round picks back-to-back. And how about another, Marcus Mariota? And I think that's probably it. No more first-round picks in here. We'll worry about specialists at a later date. I'm actually very curious what's even going to be in free agency here. Now, Dre Greenlaw is a free agent in real life. A lot of these players are. J.K. Dobbins signed a 2-year deal, I believe, to return to Denver. So He really shouldn't be here unless Denver cuts him at the end of 2026, which actually does feel like a possibility. Rasheed Walker has yet to sign in real life, and that's the case of a lot of the players here. Alex Singleton's back in Denver. Again, this roster I downloaded was not perfect. Could Rasheed Walker be a fit? I don't really think so. I think we have our tackles. Dre Greenlaw is rated so highly. What's his injury rating in the game? That's maybe what I'm more curious about. Ooh, Jeremiah Love is a top 5 talent. I'm curious who's going to get to this pick. I wonder how accurate these ages are as well. Not that accurate, because Keldrick Falk is one of the younger players in this draft. He's 20, and Arvell Reese here is 20. Keldrick Falk doesn't turn 21 until like mid-September, I think I remember seeing. So not everything in here is super accurate. We'll take a look at Jermod McCoy, who I wonder what his rating is going to be. He's a tremendous player who, of course, if you guys have watched any of my mock drafts, you know how I feel about Jermod McCoy. He's going to drop in the draft because he didn't play in 2025. He was hurt. Coming back from a torn ACL. Did not do anything at the Combine. So big questions there. This is Emmanuel Pregnon. I guess Emmanuel is not a name you can have. All right. Any Emmanuels watching this video, let that be a lesson to you. You've got to make a change. Anthony Hill at Mike. Okay. And here we go. It's time for the NFL Draft. Now, the draft order is not accurate because teams didn't finish with their exact record, but this team finished fairly close. So in real life, the Commanders have the 6th pick. No, that's not true. We have the 6th pick here. In real life, the Commanders have the 7th pick. The Browns are not at number 1, but we'll see what the new draft looks like as David Bailey is the first pick. Mendoza is a Cardinal. Man, you think maybe the Browns would have considered a quarterback at number 1. Dolphins go Arvell Reese. The Bears are at 4. They go with Ruben Bain. I mean, to be fair, this is what the top 4 could look like. Maybe not in the same order to the same teams, but the players going makes sense here. And then that makes sense as well, potentially. Francis Mauigoa off the board. And here are the Commanders at number 6 overall with a choice. Could we go with a receiver? Well, Carnell Tate is a round 1 to 2 talent. Does have elite acceleration and elite jumping, though. Overall, the attributes do look quite good. I'm really, I think, leaning towards Jeremiah Love. Can we find a good receiver down the board? Yeah, maybe Casey Concepcion, Chris Brazzell. Not awful options. Not really finding much in the way of steals down the board. Now, to be fair, like, these are real players. So that is nice. But I think we're going to go with the running back. Jeremiah Love, I figure to be a top 3 player in the class. He's got absolutely electric speed. I don't know about 4.29 speed, but he's got phenomenal speed. They're giving him elite everything. Jeremiah Love, you are a Washington Commander, and I could see this happening. If he gets to 7, I think it happens. Saints signed Travis Etienne, so that's, you think, out of the question, but Titans at 4, Giants even potentially at 5, Commanders at 7. Those seem to be the top Jeremiah Love options. But for now, in this rebuild, he is a Washington Commander. And he's actually the number 1 player in the draft. We got him at number 6. Immediate starter in the scouting report. Is he generational here in this class? I'll take it. 96 speed. 98 acceleration. I don't really mind him having this level of speed. I mean, he is a home run hitter. 92 change of direction. He's not CJ 2K or anything, but he doesn't have 99 speed. It's elite, but not the best of all time, which I think is reasonable. Peter Woods goes at 7. We're going to simulate to our next pick. Kenyon Sadiq to the Seahawks. Ty Simpson's a Raider. Kristen Miller, which is Christian here in the game, but spelled a little bit differently in real life. Commanders, no second round pick. Also, no 4th. So we've got to make the most of this selection. Chris Bell is here. Dude, the Commanders wanted Deebo Samuel. Well, Chris Bell has a similar type of skill set. He's going to go a little bit later in the draft than I think he should because he's coming off of a torn ACL that occurred at the end of 2025. But I love him as a player. He's got very good size. He doesn't have this type of speed. But he is fast. He can win vertically. And he's great after the catch. Is that represented in the game? Not really. But we need receiver. I'm a big Chris Bell guy. Welcome Chris Bell to the Washington Commanders. He's the number 74 ranked player in the draft. Got him at 70. Supposedly elite top-end speed with hidden dev. 95 speed, 92 acceleration. I'm in. Round 5. Ooh, we want more speed. What is Brennan Thompson's speed in the game? Yeah, pretty good. I actually wouldn't mind taking another receiver. Bryce Lance is another intriguing option. Trey Lance's brother. Ephesians Prysock. Great name. Kalen, you can't do, I guess. Kalon Black. I think we're just going to go Brennan Thompson. You can't teach this type of speed. We wanted to upgrade receiver. We've certainly added a lot more speed to the room. Ranked 131 in the class. Got him at 134. Normal dev, but 99 speed, 99 acceleration. I think in real life, Brennan Thompson's highly likely to go on day 2. I think he could get to day 3. Could he be available at pick 134? Maybe. I think he likely goes before that, but he does have absolutely rare track speed, and it shows up on the field. He will run away from you. Now, I know we needed a center. I got distracted. There are some centers here. Let's see who looks the best. I mean, Jaeger Burton from Kentucky looks the best. That will be the pick. Is he good value? Not especially. Center is going to be a problem. Now, I'm interested to see Burton's speed. CPU drafted Dolan Bentley down the board. He ran sub 5 at the combine. 73 speed, I guess, is pretty good. It's a good starting point. But Jeremiah Love is an 84 overall. Chris Bell's a 74. Brennan Thompson's a 72. That could potentially play. Now, typically, I would check out the highest ranked players in the draft. But if I'm going to use this particular class again, I don't want to spoil the ratings for me. I'll tell you what, Bill Krofsky-Merritt's actually up to an 82. He's going to be a really nice backup for us. I think Jeremiah Love was just too much to ignore at the 6th overall pick. Ben Sinnott can play fullback. Jeremiah Love back as the lead back. He looks very, very good. 90 agility is kind of like the one downside here. Juke and spin move are not especially high, but we'll get that upgraded over time, you'd hope. Got horrendous news. The Commanders signed Rachaad White today. I guess I got to restart the whole video. Yeah, right. I'm excited for year 2, though. Did not really do as much as we should have in order to get a new starting center, but we're going to play Chris Bell at that wide receiver 2 spot. Thompson can be a return man or whatever. That speed can go to work, but we'll keep Luke McCaffrey and Jalen Lane where they are. Receiver's still going to be a need, but hopefully Chris Bell can have a very good rookie year. Leo Chanel and Deron Payne both up to superstar dev. I'd like to see some more development from OA and I guess maybe even Dorrance Armstrong, but it's not really happening. Quan Martin, we got to find a spot for him, surely. Like, he's an interesting case because he has been a safety, and if you go back to his time at Illinois, was a safety, but also a nickel corner at times. So that feels like a decent role for him. We have Nick Cross. I think he's just going to move over to play strong safety. I think we're going to slide him over. We also do need a kicker and punter, so we're going to sign Daniel Carlson as well as Braden Mann. Nick Folk is somehow still in the NFL. It's insane. He just signed a new deal in real life, but not really particularly interested in that. And we will simulate to the regular season, ready for season 2, and hopefully ready to at least do a little bit better than we did last year. I'm going to say compete for an NFC East title. I think that's within the realm of possibility. We have definitely improved. Now, we could go out in free agency and potentially bring in a better interior offensive lineman, such as Ethan Posich. That's an option. I don't think we're going to do that, but I guess it's an option. Could sign Jalen Sundell off the Seahawks practice squad. Probably don't have a big interest in Bradley Bozeman, but Sundell's only 26. Maybe we just go with the rookie. 3-4 at the midseason mark. Started out 2-0 and have lost the last 2. And at this early point in the year, obviously that can make your record look pretty bad, right? Just 1 or 2 games go a different way. But the offense is 18th in terms of points per game. And in opponents' points per game, we're 17th. So a just true middle of the pack, maybe slightly below average team in basically every way. The running game is really where we're weak, 28th. Now, we invested in a superstar running back in Jeremiah Love. So we need that running game to improve. Only star development for Jeremiah, being conservative. You think with the overall, it probably would have come in a bit higher than that, but no. Chris Bell also with star dev. And then defensively, we didn't really draft anyone of note, but I would say if we can go out and get a good Mike linebacker, we might want to trade some players. You can see we have 15 players ready to negotiate extensions. Daron Payne is one of them. Quan Martin, Laramie Tunsil, even though in real life he signed a 2-year extension, but he'd be up around this time anyway. So that's fair. Dorrance Armstrong. This is the time where we decide what we really want to do. We've got a lot of guys who are about 29 years old with expiring deals. There's a lot of money here, but I think we should probably, play to trade away pieces at the deadline. Get rid of a Daron Payne, even though he's a good player. Definitely don't want Zion Johnson, but I would say D. Winters could actually be quite a good fit. Young, we could use the starting Mike. Saw Jordan Reed there, not Jordan Reed, Jaden Reed as an option. Keanu Benton could be interesting. I kind of like this idea, though, from the Niners. Now, I don't want to do this trade straight up. I think that's a bad deal for us. But D. Winters and a first for Daron Payne is not quite enough. But D. Winters in a second is going to get us a little bit closer. And we could trade one more piece to kind of push this across the finish line. They need a free safety. We could consider drafting one, or we could trade Quan Martin. I mean, it's just, do we want to extend him? I think we probably do. So I prefer not to trade him, which means I'd like to add in Dorrance Armstrong Jr. to the trade, and it's still not quite enough to get it done. But Daron Payne, Dorrance Armstrong, a 4th and a 7th is good enough to get D. Winters and a 2nd-round pick. He'll be our new starting Mike linebacker. And I think that's a pretty good deal for us. Jordan McGee, I've talked about. I think he's a fine option, but he's 25 and not getting any better. I also want to trade Frankie Louvu, who's in a similar spot. So maybe Winters could stay at weak side linebacker. Sebastian Joseph Day is okay, but not really what I'm looking for. Don't really want to trade Tunsil. Want to keep him around. It's tough to acquire good players. When you have them, you typically want to keep them. But I know the trade value is not going to be very much with just Frankie Louvu. Could I add in Javon Kinlaw, the former top pick? I'll do another trade with the Niners. I mean, Renardo Green is a good get for us. Javon Kinlaw back to the Niners. Another trade with San Francisco. It's going to be Javon Kinlaw, Frankie Louvu, and a future 6 for Renardo Green and a 4. Green is just a good player to get. He's only 25 years old. He's athletic enough, has decent enough size. And now we have 3 cornerbacks, maybe even 4, who I think are quite capable. Amik Robertson's a good player that can rotate in, but it's really going to be about Renardo Green, Mike Sainristil, and Trey Amos. I think that's a pretty good starting 3, all 25 years old. A lot of the players we moved were not going to have roles on this team. And we'll look to extend Quan Martin, and I think about $7.5 million, 4-year extension. That looked pretty good to me. Quan Martin, not loving it. Tunsil back on a 2-year deal, about $30 million per year. Can I take this down at all? It's a lot of money. Tunsil is going to want every bit of it, though. Declines that, and then we don't really need anybody else back. Like, Tim Settle is fine, but replaceable. Kicker and punter we can draft or find in other areas. Not really too big of a deal. So, kind of another lost year, but I think we did a good job to get younger players from San Francisco, and we're going to be better long-term because of some of those deals that we just made. So I am comfortable just moving on. Week 9 is going to be that trade deadline, so if we can't get a deal finalized with Laramie Tunsil, you know, maybe it's not the worst idea to trade him. But I'd like to have him back. He should still be pretty good. Maybe even a 3-year deal. That probably gets it done. Up the money a little bit, and Laramie Tunsil's back. It's tough to find 95 overall left tackles. It really, really is. Quan Martin is going to turn 27 when this deal kicks in. He's going to start regressing pretty soon after. But for a couple of years, he should be okay. So he is signed back. It's at least a high floor player. It doesn't mean we can't go out and upgrade free safety. But what it does mean is it's not a huge need. We're fine if we don't get one. We're fine if we do. We'll find a role for some of these guys. And I'll simulate to week 13, do the focus scouting, and then get ready for the next offseason because I don't really think we're going to be a playoff team with the way things look so far. Wow, 4-13. Would have been even worse, but a week 17 win over the Cowboys, 34-31. I guess is kind of the saving grace, but we're going to have one of the first picks in the draft. Jaden Daniels turned over the ball a lot. 17 interceptions is just far too many. That deep accuracy absolutely needs to improve because this is not the type of season that we expect out of Jaden Daniels. Jeremiah Love had a good rookie year. Eclipsed 1,000 yards, 4.5 per carrier, just about 12 touchdowns, didn't fumble. That's offensive rookie of the year territory, I would say. But Chris Bell is going to be in that conversation as well. What a year for him. 95 catches, over 1,100 yards, 10 touchdowns. Luke McCaffrey and Chigakonkwo were fairly productive. I think Scary Terry had a very good year outside of the touchdown production, but Jaden Daniels only threw 22 of them. Not amazing. Tackles, Quan Martin leading the way. 13 for loss for Odafe Owe. 12 for Johnny Newton, who did get 10 sacks. 6 for Owe, but we really didn't pressure the quarterback too much, and we didn't force too many turnovers, although Owe did have an interception. I think the big focus of this offseason is upgrade the defense. Now, they're decent overall, but they're not performing. We need to put more pressure on the quarterback. We need to force more turnovers. So we've got clear-cut goals, obviously, going into this next season. I feel good about that, but, you know, it's going to be a playbook change that helps facilitate some better performance. That's just what it is. Now, if you look defensively, Cardinals had the #1 defense. We want to do something more like what the Browns have going on. They had 11 interceptions, which was about middle of the pack. Vikings defense was pretty good too. So was Seattle. But we want to put pressure on the quarterback. And obviously when you have Myles Garrett, it becomes easier to do that. But they also didn't really allow that many yards. I think Browns defense could be a decent idea. And I think moving to a 3-4 just makes sense. Now, the Cleveland defense is actually not Cleveland. It's Tennessee, which always does simulate quite well. We have a big need at defensive tackle. No question about that. Also, an upgrade over K'Lavon Chaisson is in order. So the defense is lagging behind a little bit. But the good thing is that the secondary looks like it's pretty firmly in place. So there's not a ton of work that needs to be done there. You know, after adding Renardo Green, now we don't need to go out and add more linebackers, which is good with Jordan McGee as our third option behind Chanel and Winters. But we need defensive tackle. We need edge. Just beef up the front seven, and we're going to be in pretty good shape because the Dan Quinn leash is going to be pretty tight right now. We're running out of space, and we need to start making some moves towards being a better team. I think we are about to do that. Chiefs, Eagles, Super Bowl. Chiefs get the win. Jonathan Taylor, Offensive Player of the Year. Myles Garrett, Defensive Player of the Year. Chris Bell wins Offensive Rookie of the Year. So he should be up to Superstar Dev, I would imagine. That's typically what happens, and that is what happened. No love for Jeremiah, unfortunately. And then defensively, Quan Martin actually gets upgraded to Superstar Dev. That's kind of fun. Nick Cross up to Star. D. Winters, I believe, had Star. So we should be able to improve the defensive line. We're going to be picking pretty high in the draft. We have the second pick. We're not going to be taking a tackle, I can tell you that. There are a couple of them expected to go pretty high. There's a really good running back, supposedly projected to go very high in the draft. I bet he is going to be good, but obviously not something that makes a ton of sense for us. Clay Parsons, only a round 1 talent. Kirk Luck, even worse. We need big defensive linemen. Ideally, there would be a top 5 talent off the edge or on the interior, but it looks like that's not really going to be the case. Maybe there's something I haven't seen that looks incredible, but not really. Like, Calvin Ryans is a good athlete. I guess we'll probably take a look at him. But the edge rush is definitely a little bit underwhelming. Cliff Sherman looks okay. Who are you? Ben Gross looks gross down the board. B block should be finesse move, C power moves, A tackle. Very good athlete. That is definitely someone we want to draft way down the board. Overall, though, I would say this draft class doesn't really look very good to me, which is unfortunate because obviously good players would help this team get better faster, but I'm not really seeing too many that I'm super excited about. We will have a lot of money to spend in free agency if we want to go that route, so we'll see if there are any, stars available that can certainly help us. Zay Flowers is here. Sam Laporta is here. Brian O'Neill. So there are a couple of standouts, and we really could use a better third receiving option. I know we have Chris Bell and Scary Terry, but Zay Flowers could join the receiving core and be an upgrade for sure, and we have the money, so it's a strong option. But a Jaden Daniels extension is probably going to be on the way, so maybe we should take it easy. I know the whole point of free agency here is to get better, spend money. We have it, right? Just trying to think about if Zay Flowers is actually a good spend for us at this point. Drew Tranquil is intriguing. Don't really want Marlon Humphrey or any of the safeties. Draft kicker and punter. I mean, if we're going to sign anybody, Flowers does make the most sense. We'll still have a lot of money after this. We'll still be able to extend Jaden Daniels if we need to. So let's offer this contract to Zay Flowers. We jump up to that top spot, and we'll see if Zay Flowers will be making his way to Landover, Maryland. He is a commander. Menu slow as always, but I would say there's a lot of money to spend on a third receiver. He is our highest rated receiver. Scary Terry, I guess, and him are tied at 90, but Terry's getting a little bit worse, unfortunately. Chris Bell's on the rise. This, I guess, would make Terry McLaurin a little bit expendable. He's 31 years old. He's under contract for just 2027 and 2028. He's very expensive. So he's someone that could potentially get traded. I think to me right now, he probably has more value actually on the team. So we're going to try and keep him. And Cade May has signed a big deal to be a Lion. But he's back in free agency and could be our starting center at a pretty reasonable price. So we're going to see if Cade Mays wants to be a commander. And he does. So we have upgraded at center. Doesn't mean that we need to be done. But we have upgraded, and we'll pretty much head to the draft. This is a new wrinkle here. Eddie Belfort, top 5 talent in the draft at free safety. Very good athlete, very good coverage. That might be a player we look to get because just the value. Like, if we're going to trade down from our pick, which is definitely a possibility, that might be the player to draft. So we're at 2. Is he even expected to be a first-round pick? Of course, there is an Iowa tight end in this class. So if we want a tight end, there he is, Bobby McAllister. That's probably the way to go. Wyatt Goldsberry is ahead of the safety we want, who is currently expected to go at number 31. We could absolutely trade down, get a ton of value, and still get a top 5 player in the draft. Now, we know what we need, and it's not exactly free safety, so that kind of complicates things a little bit. But we want to get the best players we can get. It's like, does Clay Parsons really push us over the line? He actually does look pretty good. I'd be down to get a first-round talent. Top 5 is better, but I don't know. It's not the worst idea. You know, we haven't even talked about Brandon Coleman, but he's an intriguing starter candidate. Really good athlete, could potentially play some tackle. We're going to include Kaylavon Chason, and there are a lot of moving parts in this deal, but it's going to be a first-round pick, number 2 overall, a first-round pick in 2029, so a couple years from now, for 3 first-round picks from the Jets. We keep number 7, we get 26 and 27, as the Jets go with a running back, Jared Clifford, at number 2 overall. We still could be in position to take an edge rusher we like. I mean, you wouldn't think the Steelers or Jags would take an edge rusher, but it's a possibility. Do we like the player enough to move up? I mean, we just traded Kayvon Chase on. Do we like Cliff Sherman? Yeah, like, he's pretty good too. So who's better? Same play rec and awareness. Cliff Sherman has slightly higher power moves. They both have A finesse moves and C block shed. Way higher tackling on Parsons. And way better pursuit. And what's the athleticism look like? They were both combine guys. They're very, very similar players. I would say Clay Parsons probably leads slightly for me, but it's close. The elite acceleration might be the difference maker for me. He lacks discipline. Cliff Sherman is disciplined. We probably don't move up. And Clay Parsons goes at number 5 overall. Rashad Walker to the Jags at 6. And we honestly could be looking to trade down again. If we've decided that Cliff Sherman's the guy, I guess we would probably stick and pick. So you know what? Yeah, let's stick and pick. At number 7 overall, we've already traded down. Let's go Cliff Sherman from Temple. 23 years old, but very good athlete. Very disciplined. And we like that. It's kind of a dev trait indicator. So he should be like at least star, but maybe superstar dev. Ranked number 25, got him at 7. Not that mad about that. 83 speed, 80 strength, 86 acceleration. Hidden dev. I think I prefer him to Kayvon Chase on already. And now we find ourselves at number 26 overall. I mean, is there a reason that this is not Eddie Belfort? It's gotta be. Top 5 player in the class. From LSU. Pretty good defensive back school. Eddie Belfort is a commander. What do we do with Quan Martin? It's a good question. Eddie Belfort is a top 5 player in the draft. Good football IQ, faster on tape. I like everything I'm seeing so far. Gritty, hard-nosed, smart. Oh man, is this guy smart. First guy in, last guy out. Steady Eddie. He's got normal dev. All right. We are making a trade with the Bears. Bill is gone. Trading a first-round pick, a third-round pick, and a 5th next year for 2 1s from Chicago next year and the year after that. Just wasn't a player for us at 27 worth taking. We still have a pick at the top of the 2nd round. So if there's somebody in this range that we like enough, we can draft them. But I'm not really finding anybody that makes any sense. We need defensive tackle. We can find those guys down the board, like, pretty easily. And we drafted an edge rusher. We drafted a safety. Like, what do we really need? Just defensive tackle. And then offensively, like, center, but we signed Cade Mays. So it's not the biggest need. It's upgradable. Receiver's fine. We're going to trade a 2nd-round pick for a 1st-round pick next year from the Colts. They can have 34. I'm fine at 61. I have a couple of defensive tackles that I'm already lined up to draft. So I don't really feel like we need to do anything else. Just take the players that I think are going to be good. And, I mean, we could use a running back after trading Bill, but doesn't really have to be now. We can probably just sign one out of free agency for nothing. But Ramon Tatum, speed rusher with C block shed, A finesse moves, A play rec, B awareness. Certainly looks like the best one available. Only 21 years old, 6'4", 289, should be a really good fit for the system. And he is ranked as the number 65 player in the class. Took him at 61. Hidden dev, 86 strength, 78 speed, 81 acceleration. Very good for an interior defensive lineman. Also from South Carolina. So we trade one South Carolina DT away back to the Niners in Javon Kinlaw. And we draft a South Carolina replacement here. And I feel pretty good about that. We know there's another defensive tackle way down the board that I'm going to draft. He just looks like easily the best value in the entire draft. Although Anton Newberry also looks pretty good. We just straight draft defensive tackles. Anton Newberry looks good. I was kind of leaning towards Ben Gross, though. I mean, could probably get both if we wanted. So let's use this 4th round pick on, I don't know, maybe a running back like Bill. We get trade for Bill Krosky Merritt. Let's go with the center here. Troy Gilmore, 21 years old. Good depth, if nothing else. Ranked at number 111, got him at 98. He's one of the best centers available. And we could use more depth on the interior offensive line. And our next pick is just going to be the defensive tackle way down the board. I mean, maybe even both of the defensive tackles that looked okay. We do need kicker and punter. It probably is not a right now thing. I mean, 2 with A kick accuracy is okay, I guess. So we're going to go Peter McLaughlin with our 5th round pick here. None of the kickers or punters looked worth taking. McLaughlin appears to be a really great athlete with exceptional speed. He's a top 81 player in the draft. Got him at 130. Hidden dev. Very good overall athleticism. And then we'll come back and our final pick will be Gross at defensive tackle. And we'll have the CPU handle the rest. But I think this actually might be our last pick in the draft. We may have traded that 7th round pick already, so not really a huge deal. And, oh, hold on. Dwayne Garvin's around 2 to 3 talent at guard. We're just going to take him here. Guess we can trade up for Gross if we want to. But Dwayne Garvin is ranked 51. Got him at 162. No-brainer to probably select him and see if we can develop him and find something there. But I think we are probably out of picks. So if we want to spend another one, we would have to move up. Shouldn't be a challenge at all to get this 6th round pick from the Panthers and just put a bow on this draft. So that's what I think we're going to do. Should be, again, very easy to get this. These are now only picks next year. I mean, I would give them a future 5, and that should get it done. And it does. So we've acquired this pick here on day 3. And, I mean, we talked about some of these other guys, but I just drafted a different defensive tackle. I like the elite strength, 354 pounds. That's absolutely valuable. More speed here from Feliz, but I think Ben Gross is probably the guy. I mean, I guess I had already convinced myself that it was going to be him. Is Anton Newberry just better? The awareness is worse, which is, that does factor in overall. Play rec could be the same. Tackling is the same. Block shed's the same. Power move slightly higher. I think Ben Gross just looks a little bit better overall. He is 23, though. And he's actually a top 20 player in the draft, who we get at 163. Hidden dev, 92 strength, 75 speed, 78 acceleration. How about that for a 6th round pick? Do we just call the Bears up and get the other one? I know there's a lot of defensive tackles, but this was what we needed in the draft. This is what we needed. Maybe a 6 and a 7 for this pick here. Who's got it? Is it Chicago? Okay. David Blay, a 6th and a 7th next year. Gets us our 3rd straight pick in the 6th. And with that, we are going to be taking Anton Newberry. Why choose one or the other? Let's just get both. Por qué no los dos? And he's actually a top 15 player in the draft. Got him at 164. Also hidden dev, great strength. Acceleration's very good. Speed's not bad for 354 pounds. And he's only 21. Yeah, that probably should have been the pick over Ben Gross, but we got both. So, we'll take it. What a draft. Defensive tackle's always so juiced. The value is so good down the board. And we absolutely crushed it. 76 overall for Cliff Sherman's pretty good. 80 for Eddie Belfort. And he was the 5th best player in the class. So there are 4 more who are 80 or above. Tatum's a 72. Gilmore is just okay. McLaughlin's just okay. But Garvin, Gross, and Newberry down the board at 74, 76, and 77 overall, respectively. Very, very good picks. And at positions of need. Number 1 player in the class was, of course, an Iowa tight end, Bobby McAllister. It's not the biggest need for us, but would have been a good player to get for sure. Jared Clifford is very good, 81 overall. Jason Rushing, an 81 overall left guard. Wyatt Goldsberry, the safety, was very good. We picked Belfort instead. Goldsberry, you wouldn't know from looking at him, but has 95 speed. What an athlete. Eddie Cologne looks pretty good too. And then, wow, a couple of third-round corners down the board. That is interesting. This guy was taken in the first, I think. But, wow, okay. Pretty good draft for us. We wanted to upgrade defensive tackle, and we have absolutely upgraded defensive tackle. Got a lot younger, got better even, and got pretty good dev traits. At least star dev on those guys. As gotta figure out if we're doing anything with Garvin. I feel like we're not yet. And then defensively, yeah, Sherman should start. I mean, we're starting a lot of young players, but I don't necessarily see a problem with that. These guys are ready to go. Might take a little bit of development to get them where we want them to be, but they'll be 80 overall plus in no time, really. And this defense starts to look a lot better when that happens. A lot better. Need Sherman to have a big rookie year, though, and Adafe Owe to figure it out. Like, Brandon Aubrey's just in free agency. That's why we don't really need to spend big money in the actual free agency to get a kicker and punter. We can just very easily wait for them to be available. No competition. Not like there's ever really anyway. But it's just too easy. Najee Harris is in here as well. Looking for a power back behind Jeremiah Love. That's the guy. Well, I thought this season would start a bit differently. It hasn't. We're 1-2. We're up to an 88 overall as a team. Deciding to go with Dwayne Garvin at left guard. Had better dev trait than Chris Paul. It was hidden. Now it's revealed to be star. As he's a starter, did training camp with him as well. Of course, we've kept Najee Harris. And, like, the team looks pretty good. Just not off to the greatest of starts. We're relying on a lot of young players, so maybe we're another year away from being truly competitive. But we have good depth. Eddie Belfort's a good pickup at free safety. Still going to start Quan Martin, though. But we're relying on Sherman, Gross, Newberry. Like, these guys have to play and to play well. It's a lot of young players. So maybe this team is a year away. But as I said, up to an 88 overall. Like, you expect this team to be a little bit more competitive this year. And it's early. 1-2 doesn't really mean a whole lot to me. Because you got to factor in, you know, okay, we played 3 games. We've got so many more games left, and the team's going to be improving every week. That's kind of the big strength of having all of these young players. They should be getting better and better and better, and hopefully by midseason mark, we see a team that's actually fairly competitive. Now, I don't know if that's going to be, you know, 5 or 6 wins, but up to 4 would be nice. We'll take 3. 3's not so bad here. Offense is better. Our defense is struggling. Not my favorite. Philly is 4-2. This is going to be a big game. This is a really big game for the division. But a game like this, obviously, there are going to be implications. And the Cowboys just beat us. The NFC East is really close right now. We could still be a wild card, even if we don't win the division. But the easiest path to the playoffs is winning the division. You don't have to worry about anything else. Now, it takes a lot of wins in order to put yourself in a position to do that. We have 24 players ready to negotiate extensions. Jaden Daniels is one of them. Leo Chanel, who wants to be back. Johnny Newton, same deal. Nick Cross, a lot of players that were recently acquired. Although it's not as many in the end as I thought it might be. Okonkwo's okay. Green doesn't really want to be here. We definitely want Sainer still. And we have the money. 4-year extension. He wants a little bit more money. Nick Cross, I'd love to bring back. Would love to. Still only 25 years old. Thinking a 4-year extension for him. I'm thinking actually even a 5-year extension maybe. And he's going to want more money. Or a mentor at safety, which we don't have. Jerzon Newton, very expensive. But for what he should bring to the table, which is interior pass rush, very valuable. We've got to bring him back, and he is back on a 5-year extension, close to 20 mil per year. I'd like to bring back Leo Chanel. He's getting very expensive. I moved him over from Sam linebacker, and he's a lot more expensive as a result. But a 5-year extension for him could be good too, and he wants to be here. Leo Chanel is back, close to 16 a year, and this is where the big money's going to be. Jaden Daniels. I thought it actually might have been a little bit more expensive than this, but it's still about $50 million per year. So quite expensive, and he's going to want more money. he's still going to want more money. So he wants to play for a contender. We are not that yet. But by the end of the season, we could be in that conversation. So maybe we just wait and see what happens at the end of the season, because we could very easily be a playoff team. Okay, well, we turned the season around a little bit, ended up making the playoffs here at 10-7. Kind of an up and down year, but the second half was great. Only 2 losses post-bye. That's pretty good. 3 since week 8. Like, that's pretty good. Now, it stings a bit that they were division losses to the Eagles and Giants, but 10-7's a playoff team a lot of the time, especially with this expansion. Jaden Daniels had a much better year. About 4,000 yards passing, 34 touchdowns to 7 picks. Jeremiah Love takes another step up. Close to 5 a carry, 1,100 yards, 8 touchdowns. We'll take that. Najee was actually a really nice change of pace as well, even with a fumble. Zay Flowers, what a year. 1,400 yards, 23 touchdowns for Flowers. That's pretty good. Record-breaking, some would say. And then defensively, Leo Chanel, 150 tackles, 18 for loss for OA. Still looking for this real production with getting after the QB. 7 sacks for the rookie. Cliff Sherman's not too bad. Only 3 team interceptions. We go into the NFL record books, though. And, okay, Puka had 25 in 2025 in Sim. Well, all right. See if we can beat Seattle in the wild card. That's a tough draw. That's a tough opponent, and we get mopped. 27-10. Now, if you look at the actual ranks here, number 14 scoring offense, number 26 scoring defense. How did we manage to win 10 games? Might need to mess with the playbook a little bit again. Bengals is not a bad option. The Bills have been very productive here. Allow us to run the ball a lot. Maybe we try that. Packers and Dolphins Super Bowl. So that's an interesting matchup. Jeff Hafley leaving the Packers to become the head coach of the Dolphins. And now will face his former team. Also, there's some connection there between the Packers and Dolphins. Legendary players like Billy Turner. Greg Jennings, I believe, was a Dolphin briefly as the Packers whoop the Dolphins. Joe Burrow wins league MVP. Alex Highsmith, Defensive Player of the Year. And it's Dolphins and Commanders in there for Rookies of the Year. We got Cliff Sherman. So a good showing. And I think I kind of glossed over it a little bit. We have Zay Flowers, so Offensive Rookie of the Year is huge. Laramie Tunsil will retire, though. Didn't really see that happening. I guess Sam Cosmi could kick out to tackle. He's done that before. And we have Gilmore that can play guard. We have Chris Paul that can play guard. I think Sam Cosmi's got to go play left tackle like this is Texas. That's what we're going to try. College tackle, so it's not like it's completely random. And then Chris Paul, I guess, is going to be slated to be the starter at right guard. We could, of course, move somebody else over. But he'll slide over from left guard to right guard. Kind of was benched. Not sure he's going to be the starter there anyway. But it'll look like this for right now. Receiver, Zay Flowers will get X Factor. Scary Terry, or maybe that already happened. He just didn't get X Factor for winning Offensive Player of the Year. He gets Superstar only. But he scored 20-plus touchdowns, man. Can't get X Factor for that? Maybe not. Seems crazy. Defensively, Sherman is a Superstar Dev player, as is Odafe Owe. Sherman had it, so winning Defensive Rookie of the Year does nothing for him. We know Odafe Owe got the upgrade. And then defensively, Tatum is a Superstar Dev player. Gross and Newberry are higher rated, but Tatum's got that Superstar Dev trait, which makes him incredibly intriguing. 85 finesse moves. He's going to end up being a starter. He'll probably end up playing over Gross, I would say. Players ready to negotiate. Jaden Daniels does think we're a playoff contender now, so if we offer the same deal, maybe even slightly less money, he's going to test free agency. Well, we're going to franchise tag him. It's a little bit more expensive per year, which does complicate things slightly. But we still got him. It's not really the end of the world. We'll worry about an extension next year. Nick Cross does get a big contract. Mike Sainer still apparently really wants to be here. So just sign the deal. Not interested. I don't know how that can be possible. Josh Connerly will pick up his 5th-year option. Renardo Green, maybe not. It's probably just not worth the 10 mil. But losing a couple of cornerbacks, 3 cornerbacks who are pretty good, is not my favorite thing. But do we really want to pay Green? I think we're going to go after Sainer still in regular free agency. We'll let Green go. Quan Martin can go play corner. He can play slot corner. Very comfortable with that idea. And then Belfort could go play and start at free safety. Quan Martin down from superstar to star dev. I'm not really mad about that. Amos, hopefully Sainer's still back, and then Quan Martin in the slot. Belfort as a starting free safety. We'll see who else is available in free agency as well. We know we're going to need money for Jaden Daniels now. I mean, we knew we were going to. I said it already, but I mean, now we really know. Very expensive. Quinn Williams is here, or I was going to say Jahad Campbell. It's Jack Campbell, of course, at Mike. Troy Franklin's up to an 87. Nolan Smith is intriguing, but we don't really need him. Brandon Aubrey's here, but we don't need to sign him right now. Where is Mikey Sainer still? That's going to be the guy. He wants to be here, even though he said no. He does want to be here. He lied about it. He just wanted to test, and that's okay. Test the open market, see what you can get, but you will be a commander. We do need a tight end. The draft class does not appear to be good for it, so I guess we just offer Chig Okonkwo again. I don't really want to do this, but we do need a starting tight end, and he definitely qualifies. We've targeted Sainer still, Ennis Rakestraw, and Chig Okonkwo. I think we'd get all 3, and we do, and we're pretty much ready for the draft. So here we are in the draft at number 3, 8, and 23. There are no top 5 talents that I could find because one of them is surely going to be this running back, Kai Northcutt. 5'11", 234, elite acceleration, great change of direction. The speed looks very good. He's got a juke move, a stiff arm, a trucking. Absolute guaranteed top 5 talent, I think. It's just, we don't need that at all. We don't really need another pass rusher. We just need to develop the players we do have. The only kind of caveat that I might say is that we could go out and trade for a true star. Like, I get that Cade Mays isn't incredible here. Probably a higher overall player in real life compared to this particular roster. We do need a backup running back, but I'm not going to take one at 3 overall. So maybe a true CB1. Talked about moving Quan Martin to corner, but we could just leave him there and have Belfort going to be the backup safety in both of these spots. Edge looks okay. D-line obviously looks very good. So it's a true number 1 corner. Could be the move here at 3. Receiver looks fine. I mean, like, maybe an upgrade on the O-line somewhere. If we get a tackle, we could move Cosme back. That's not the worst idea. Well, this is going to be the trade. We've got our CB1. Trading Marcus Allen, not the Hall of Famer, and number 3 for DJ Turner. The Bengals get the 3rd overall pick in the draft, and we've really upgraded in a big way at the position. Now, DJ Turner does have X Factor. He's under contract for the next 3 seasons. He offers a ton of speed. Coverage is good. That is a big-time acquisition. He's fine at left tackle, so we don't really need to go out and get somebody else. But who they trade up for a running back, Kai Northcutt. Man, I mean, would I have drafted him here? No way, but maybe a way. Just because he's so sick. Is there going to be a really good center here? Probably not. It seems crazy to trade the 8th overall pick for a center. But if we can go out and get one of the best ones in the league, that's kind of a different story, right? Like, is Creed Humphrey expendable? Oh, final year of his deal. Is Tyler Linderbaum expendable? Could be. And I've traded the 8th overall pick for a center. But it is Tyler Linderbaum under contract. It's not really even that expensive. A little bit crazy, but we're trying to be better. The whole reason we traded down was to get more picks, to get more flexibility, so we can do more. And we've done that. And we could go out and add a receiver, I guess. Don't really need receiver too badly. But these guys do look fairly good. Jonathan Cano looks very good overall. Has elite agility. Ran in the 4.2s. Kind of good at everything. He'll be the pick. He's ranked number 12. We got him at 23. He's got normal dev, because of course he does. But He's got a lot of speed. I don't know. Our team doesn't really have many holes at this point. Trying to take big swings on players, and I mean, it's easy to miss on a receiver, I guess, even if he's a round 1 talent. Could use a backup tight end. Ian Morris will be that guy. Has elite speed, 6'2", 257, top 30 player in the draft. Got him at 55, hidden dev, great speed and acceleration and agility. Kind of like a hybrid fullback, tight end style, you know, an H-back, move tight end. He's small, but big. He's like 260, even that 6'2" for a tight end, so he should be a mover. Draft recap, Cano's a 77. Ian Morris is a 75. Got good value with Maurice Ellis down the board, who is a 74 overall, and a backup running back. Not the end of the world. Now, we did miss out on a great running back in Kai Northcutt. 84 overall. Really, really talented player. 99 juke move at 234 pounds. That'd be a really, really good player to get, but obviously was not the move. Another great running back, Tremaine Clark, is an 83. What's his deal? 228. Very well-rounded, can just do everything. Another stud running back, but obviously was never going to be in consideration for us with Jeremiah Love. Really good guard down the board, couple of really good quarterbacks. Okay, so this is going to be the team, and I expect good things to happen this year. We've improved at kind of our biggest positions of need. Belfort's going to start at free safety. Used him in training camp. He's up to an 87 overall. I think Quan Martin could potentially play in the slot if we wanted him to, but could go with Sainer still there. I think it makes sense for Quan Martin to be there. So we're going to leave him there for now. We know Zay Flowers is probably going to dominate in the slot again. So I'm just going to keep the offense as is. Like, could move Terry McLaurin. Could move Chris Bell into a role where he might produce a little bit more. But we're just trying to win games here in 2028. We're going to simulate to the midseason mark, see how we're doing. And this is what we wanted to see. 6-1 at the midseason mark. Best offense in the league. The defense is just not quite on the same level yet. And that's okay. Oh man, another class with wide receiver is the strongest position group. I'm so surprised. Got 14 players ready to negotiate extensions. We've got a lot of money because we're not yet paying Jaden Daniels a ridiculous amount, but we're about to. In 3, 2, 1, Jaden Daniels is back on a massive extension. Trey Amos could be joining him. I'd like to keep him. 26 years old, trending towards being one of the better corners in the league here in Madden. He wants a little bit more money. Sam Cosmi, Adafe Owe, Terry McLaurin. It's a lot of aging talent, but it's 3, and Cade Mays. But it's 3 players who I think I would like to have, but it's not the end of the world if we don't bring them back. Cosmi is going to be very expensive, but I'd like to give him a contract extension, and he re-signs. Owe's a little bit of a weirder one. He wants to be here. Oh, he's only $13 million. Okay, I'll do a 1-year deal for Adafe Owe to keep him around. Never really developed into the superstar that we were hoping he could be. Terry McLaurin we probably don't need, but obviously like we'd like to have here because he's the best Commanders player in real life. Probably, certainly, I would say. I mean, I guess Jaden Daniels because he's a quarterback, but Terry is their best overall player. We're going to simulate to the playoffs, and with a 6-1 start, it would be unbelievable if we were not in the playoffs. That doesn't mean we're going to win, 13 or 14 games, but 11 maybe? Very, very doable. And we actually win 12, but not a first-round bye, which I guess is not insanely weird for 12 wins. Would have been nice, though. Seattle won 14 games, and they get that first-round bye. Jaden Daniels, though, had a career year. MVP-level stuff. 4,800 yards, 48 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. He was incredible. Jeremiah Love had his best year. About 1,300 yards, 5.5 per carry, 10 touchdowns. Just awesome. Maybe we should have brought back Najee Harris. Zay Flowers is crushing it. Chris Bell and Terry McLaurin were fairly productive as well. Jeremiah Love had 7 receiving touchdowns, but Zay Flowers stole the show. 1,800 yards receiving on 120 catches, 23 touchdowns, over 100 yards receiving per game. What a season. Owe finally hit double-digit sacks. Cliff Sherman, 13.5. Johnny Newton, double digits again. And then we actually forced plenty of interceptions. Our defense looked like it was fairly good, even though points per game's a little high. 22nd in points per game allowed. That's not great. We've got the Rams in the wild card. I'm not jumping in for the wild card, man. Let's get that win, and we do. Commanders, Packers in the divisional. Again, not jumping in. We'll jump in for the NFC Championship if we make it that far, and hopefully we do. We don't. Oh, that's so frustrating. 28-25. We'll try to run it back, and the defense needs to improve a little bit. Just allowing too many points per game. That's the big deal right now. All right, we got the Javon Walker Bowl in the Super Bowl. Also, Billy Turner. Again, Packers, Broncos. Let's go ahead and simulate. I want this to be a Super Bowl year here in 2029. We just go into another offseason with a little bit of uncertainty because, and it's good uncertainty. I think we're going to pretty much run it back, and a lot of our players are going to get better. Just what do we really need to do to improve as RJ Harvey wins Super Bowl MVP? Jaden Daniels wins MVP. Zay Flowers, Offensive Player of the Year. That's an incredible combo so far. The challenge is going to be, okay, how do we get over the hump? How do we take the next step? 12-5 is great. Out in the divisional is not my favorite after winning 12 games. We've got 27 mil in available salary cap. Should be able to do something with that. Jaden Daniels up to X Factor. Zay Flowers up to X Factor. DJ Turner down from X Factor. Quan Martin back up to Superstar. I mean, Owe's down as well. I guess we could try and upgrade over Adafe Owe. Like, that's going to be the only thing. Can we go out and get, you know, a really good edge? That's going to be the thing. Trey Amos would love to bring back. It's going to be a little bit more money. He doesn't really want to be here with the income tax, but he'll return anyways for a little bit more money. And then Scary Terry is regressing and is going to want more money than I want to give him probably. You know what? 11 mil is fine. 11 mil is fine. We have no money for anybody else, though. We're going to have to create a little bit if we ultimately want to get a kicker and punter, which we do. Could draft, but it's likely going to end up being something we sign post-draft. Likely. So we have pretty much no money. Free agency, not really an option. Brian Burns would be sick to get, but I don't really know what we can do to create more cap space. Like restructuring Jaden Daniels, potentially. That frees up 11.4 mil this year. Yeah, we're going to restructure that, the classic QB restructure. Teams do that all the time to create more money. And we could try the same deal with Zay Flowers. I think Newton's going to be a little bit better for us, though. Like, we could try and offer Brian Burns. That's kind of where I'm leaning right now. He's going to be highly expensive, is my only potential problem with that. We're going to make a big-time move. It's going to cost a little bit more than this, but Nick Bonito will be a commander. Always on the move. Chris Paul, a first and a future 2 for Nick Bonito. It's a big upgrade over Adafe Owe. I figure we have somebody that can come in and play guard if need be, and now need be. We've got to move Gilmore over there, but that's really not too big of a problem. He's really not especially built for it. A little bit tiny, but still could be good. So we're here in the draft. We don't have a first-round pick because we traded it to get, you know, a player that can really help us win right now. Not going to draft Nick Bonito with any of our picks. So our first pick doesn't come until basically the end of round 2. Lost out on a lot of really good receiving options, but we don't really need, you know, receiver. So it's not really too bad. I would say that we could use depth at tight end always, I guess. And that's where we're going to go. Clyde Coker is the pick. He's ranked number 31. Got him at 59. Hidden Dev. Can't really complain about that. And it's really not too bad of a draft. 75 overall for Coker. Jesse Clavijo is future starter potential, but that's not really going to be a big issue for us. And this will be the team. Picked up a backup QB somewhere along the way as well. We need a kicker and punter, but otherwise, we're ready to win a Super Bowl, I think. It's that caliber team. Just need a kicker or punter. So I will create some cap space and then sign Tyler Loop and Jeremy Crawshaw, and we'll be good to go. So we do end up sneaking into the playoffs at 10-7. Back-to-back losses to end the year is not my favorite, but Jaden Daniels was pretty good again. 4,600 passing yards, 43 touchdowns to 14 picks. Jeremiah Love was even better than last year. About 1,600 yards, 6.4 per carry, 10 touchdowns. Zay Flowers was awesome. Scary Terry still got it. Chris Bell with a big year. A lot more of the football being spread around this season. And then defensively, any standouts? Cliff Sherman, double-digit sacks. Nick Bonito right there as well. Wish he did a little bit more. Ramon Tatum had a nice year. Forced enough turnovers. That's not terrible. I'm going to reset the depth chart here. I made Nick Bonito a left edge now. Like, I don't know if that's going to do much. Our offense was best in the league. Our defense was actually quite good. Like, we should be able to go on a run here. We're 94 overall. May end up getting even higher by the time the season's over. Like, this needs to be a team that goes out and win, and that's a good start. Do we jump in here? Eagles, Commanders. Let's do it. And here we go. Unfortunately, a road game, but I mean, the Eagles won 14 games, so they deserve home field advantage. Let's see if it does play much of an advantage. Not a really high-scoring game so far. Just 7-3. Finally, we take the lead at 10-7 into the fourth quarter, extending it to 17. Now 24-7. Eagles came out and laid an egg in the second half. Only 7 points the entire game. I think they scored in the first quarter to open things up and then just didn't score the rest of the game. I wonder who could be at fault for that. Got to be an offensive coordinator issue. Jaden Daniels, 2 touchdowns, 263 yards passing. Jalen Hurts held to just 107 through the air. But hey, he didn't turn over the ball. So he's got to be a great player. Running game really struggled to get going, but it really always does. Like, the running game never simulates well. We are headed to the NFC Championship game, though. And I guess we're about to find out who the opponent of that will be. And I bet it's going to be Seattle. It's not. It's Detroit. Commanders, Lions. 10-7 versus 9-8. They're a 90 overall team, though. And despite having a worse record, they have home field advantage. Did they win the NFC North with 9 wins? They may have. They've got home field here, playing at Ford Field in the Dome. Commanders, Lions. Deshaun Hand is one that works, right? Here we go. Lions out to an early 7-0 lead. We answer with a touchdown, but missed the extra point, or it was blocked. It's 16-7. Really high-scoring game so far. It's back and forth, 16-14. No points in the third quarter, but 19-14 into the fourth. Fumble recovery has given us the football. Jeremiah Love wearing number 39. Why do I feel like it could actually work? Like, that's kind of an ugly number, but it feels like it works for some reason. Field goal, and we basically win the game. The only thing we can't do is turn over the ball. There's Jeremiah Love. Stay in bounds. Love still on his feet. Timeout, Detroit. 3rd and goal. Do we want to score a touchdown here? Probably do, right? And Jeremiah Love makes sure that we do. Couple of broken tackles at the goal line. Kirby Joseph had a chance. Could not bring him down. What a run from Love. And that basically should do it. 12-point game. I mean, the Lions will effectively need a miracle. They're going to have to score really quickly. And they keep going the wrong direction. Penalty after penalty after penalty. No, it was a couple of sacks. Everett Olsen is the Lions quarterback, and he is in hell right now. This pass rush is going ballistic. Ramon Tatum, 2.5 sacks. Benito's got 1.5. Jerzon Newton has 1.5. This Lions team just can't keep a drive together, and that's going to be their downfall in the end. 26-14 is the final. They dropped to 9-9 on the year, and we're a game out from making the Super Bowl. Another great day for Jaden Daniels. And our pass rush came alive at the right time. Ooh, Commanders, Ravens. These guys are connected by a highway, maybe 35 minutes apart. What a matchup here in the Super Bowl. Got to go north to Minneapolis to make it happen. But this is what you play for. 2029, everything has come down to this. The Ravens are an 87 overall. It's battle of maybe the two most mobile quarterbacks in the league. Jaden Daniels, Lamar Jackson. Only one can win their first Super Bowl. The Commanders have already been to the NFC Championship recently. The Ravens have not managed to go back to the Super Bowl since 2013, right? So this is a big moment. 3-3, 10-3 into the third quarter. Ravens have tied it up, and the Commanders take the lead 17-10. Ravens not going down without a fight. And the Ravens are going to have possession here in the fourth quarter. Chance to win the game. We need a turnover. Tyler Algier is the back. Signed a contract to go become a Cardinal in real life. See what that ends up looking like. Not very good if you are a Trey Benson supporter, probably. Here's 3rd and 3. Ooh, that's good defense, but the catch is made anyway. Ooh, that's no good. Broken tackle from Algier. If they score 3, that's fine. We're getting basically to the edge of where we can, you know, hold them to 0. Sacking Lamar Jackson's easier said than done, but that's probably the way to do it. They might even run the ball here. No, we gave up the middle. Algier with 10 plus, and we're going to have to start considering timeouts here in the really near future. This is where Lamar could throw a pick, though. What a moment that would be. Throw over the middle. Big hit, fumble! It's recovered by Tatum. Oh my goodness, what a hit. What a moment. Insanely big turnover for Baltimore. And it wasn't Mark Andrews that did it. It wasn't Zay Flowers. It was Burrell. Got rocked. Huge fumble. Huge moment. And that could cost Baltimore a championship. It's no guarantee that we can get down the field, though. They're going to blitz. Jaden Daniels on the move. Didn't really see anybody get open. They were in man coverage, and we didn't have anybody that can beat man. Certainly didn't seem to happen on that play. Inside a minute. Out to Terry. Good ball. McLaurin turns up the field. He'll check out near the 45. That's the type of play we needed. That definitely beat man coverage. 48 seconds to go. That's wide open. It's Chigoziem Okonkwo. The new commander in real life has obviously been here for a number of years, and we are absolutely on the edge of field goal range right now. Probably in there. 41 seconds to go. Baltimore going to have to start calling timeouts. Or will they? No, they will, because we are not going to take the touchdown there. Jeremiah Love with the cutback. 36 seconds to play. We can take all the time off the clock here. And that's obviously going to be the goal. As long as Jeremiah Love does not fumble the ball, we are going to win a Super Bowl. I don't want to make anybody miss. Just don't fumble. Ravens going to burn their final timeout here. That's kind of a big hit. There's the final timeout. 3rd and 5. Let's just go down here. Let's just go down. Okay, we're going to get ready to call that timeout. Actually, we're just going to take the 3. We can time it up perfectly. 000s on the clock. And that's the Super Bowl. We have accomplished the ultimate goal. The Washington Commanders are Super Bowl champions. 20-17 over the Baltimore Ravens. In-state rival, which nobody ever really talks about. But I guess people think, if they think the Washington Commanders are not actually in the state of Washington, they think they're Washington, D.C., but they play in Landover, Maryland, not too far from Baltimore. So that will be the Super Bowl. We've won it all. Thank you guys so much for watching. Check out my rebuild to come on MLB The Show on my second channel, Bengal Plays. Link, as always, is down in the description. I'll be streaming that series live probably a lot as well. So twitch.tv/Bengal. I'll be live tonight. Check it out. And I'll see you in the next one. Take it easy.